Hi everyone, my name is Darcy Marie. Today I want to share with you my POTS diagnosis story, also called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Now, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome is a condition where um, when you go from lying down to standing, you feel lightheaded or dizzy or like you're going to pass out, or you may even pass out. Um, when you go from laying down to standing up, and your heart rate feels like it's beating 100 miles an hour. You have tachycardia with posture, um, like going from laying down to standing. Maybe laying down you have normal heart rate, but when you go to stand up, it shoots up and it stays up and stuff like that. So I would like to share with you, that's just the definition. I would like to share with you my diagnosis story. So, my POTS syndrome was actually stumbled across, accidentally diagnosed. It's funny, but I was having symptoms of also another rare hereditary condition called episodic ataxia type 2, which it's a vertigo inducing condition that affects my balance, okay, that runs in my family. We were trying to figure out what was going on um, with that. But I ended up going to being checked out for my heart for this at the Cardiac Center of Cleveland Clinic. That's when we stumbled across my POTS. Okay, at the time I had a tilt table test done. This was in 2007. So I had the tilt table test. It showed I had late POTS. I had POTS. But I also had orthostatic hypotension, which means my blood pressure dropped significantly when I was upright, when I went from laying down on the table to an upright position on the tilt table test. So the tilt table test is a specific test to look into dysautonomia, which is what POTS is. It's a form of dysautonomia. There are other forms of dysautonomia that affect your heart rate, blood pressure, and stuff with position. It is people don't think about like doing orthostatic blood pressure taking or heart rate checking when you go into a general doctor's office. So it's often overlooked as to why the patient may be feeling dizzy or lightheaded. Um, so this was stumbled across. I had this in 2007. Right there from start, I was put on a beta blocker, and I was very young even. I was put on a beta blocker for the condition. Um, and I had, before my tilt table test in 2007, I had one passing out spell where I had completely lost consciousness at that time. But it wasn't a lot. I was not having them regularly. As time progressed on, I've had more loss of consciousness spells, but again, they're still not at a constant regular. But I do get dizzy or lightheaded with standing and pre-syncope, which means that I feel like I'm about to pass out when I stand up. But that's how my condition is with that, my POTS. Now, it's I've been hypermobile or double jointed ever since I was a child. I remember doing these silly things when I was a kid, but I never thought of it as anything else besides normal. Um, W sitting with my legs in a W position, and stuff like that, doing weird things with my fingers like this, but I never thought of it as anything else, or I never even thought of it as double jointed until more recently, I would say the past few years ago. I discovered I possibly have a hypermobility syndrome. Now, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome is very common in hypermobile people. It is very common in hypermobility syndromes such as hypermobility spectrum disorder or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. But it's not the only contributing factor to triggering POTS. So if you have POTS, it doesn't mean necessarily that you're a hypermobile person. But nearly a lot of people that are hypermobile, for a fact, do have POTS. So there are other contributing factors as to what causes your POTS to develop, is what I mean to say. But how I stumbled across that is I stumbled across my hypermobility on my own. I was doing research. I came across Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and the information about POTS being super common in people that are hypermobility. So I decided to do a few party tricks, or try out a few party tricks on my own to test if I was hypermobile, and then I indeed was. So that was kind of stumbled across accidentally in a way, but now more up to date, I had dislocated my fibula head in my leg, which I required surgery for July 31st of this year. And I needed surgery for that, a subluxation that kept continuing after a full-on dislocation that had happened. So I was actually, I have other symptoms of possible Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but I won't get too much into them, like TMJ, migraine, headaches, or, what have you. But the one thing I just wanted to talk about in this video is my postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, what my possible contributing factor is to developing it, and my diagnosis story. So yeah. So this was all more so casually stumbled across. Now Cleveland Clinic Orthopedics, there were 2 of them there that think I may have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, in which I am under investigation for my hypermobility or possible Ehlers-Danlos syndrome at the moment, because I can do like crazy things like that. I could touch my foot to my head and everything like that. My elbows bend backwards like that. Like that. And I can touch my foot to my head like that. And stuff. So yeah, that's just the general my story about that. That one too. And of course, touching the tip of my tongue to my nose. That one. But that's just the way it is. So Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is currently under investigation. I'll keep you all posted on that. I just wanted to jump on here and share my POTS diagnosis story. More up to date, I would say, like, more recently, within the past year, I was hospitalized due to high heart rate and stuff, in which they think was the cause from my POTS. So I was admitted into the hospital for a high heart rate at one time after I was exercising, because I also have exercise intolerance depending on the exercise and stuff. So I was hospitalized and my heart checked out fine, thinking it was my POTS that contributed to the high heart rate. So yeah, that's my story. Hope you all enjoyed it, and see you soon. Bye.